It's almost National Donut Day here, and I thought, what better way to celebrate than to make some gluten-free donuts at home with my kids? My son has been learning all about donuts this week at school, and I thought it would be fun if he could see them from start to finish and then get to enjoy the finished product he puts together. First of all, I was taking it in turns between my two kids to put the ingredients in, as I figured they'd both be able to get involved and enjoy the whole process. The way this video ended was both kids decided they just wanted to eat the end product and not assist along the way. So once all the fun part was done of putting all the ingredients together, they went away, started watching some Peppa Pig, and then I finished the process off. But to be honest, I think that was a better idea, as otherwise it would have taken 10 times as long. So there are some really good gluten-free donuts out on the market at the moment that you can buy already made, but sometimes they're not close or accessible, and it's just even more fun to make your own. Making gluten-free donuts, I've done this quite a few times, but I've always tweaked my recipe along the way, and I'm really happy with the way this particular recipe I have put together has worked out. So what you can see from this video is we've put together some yeast with some warm milk and only 1 teaspoon of the sugar. The rest of the sugar will go in with the flour, xanthan gum, salt, butter, and egg yolks. Once all of that's been mixed together, we'll add in the milk mixture that has the yeast and that teaspoon of sugar and blend it until it comes together. Mix it until it comes together as a nice sticky dough. I'm using the dough hook attachment on my KitchenAid, and it pulls all the dough to the center of the bowl. Perfect for you to take out and knead once it's been done. Once your dough has been mixed, put it on your bench, knead it out, but dust the surface with some gluten-free all-purpose plain flour. Then get some butter and grease your bowl before you put your dough back in. Cover it with a towel and allow it to rest in a warm spot in the house. I had the heater on as we're in winter, so I think that really helped keep the dough nice and warm and free from chill and draft. After an hour, I've checked on the dough and I'm happy with how much it's risen. We re-knead it again, and this time, after we've kneaded the dough, we cut out the little donuts. I often get asked what type of flour I use when I'm making my products, and it depends on what I'm actually making. In this instance, I didn't mention that the flour I've used is your self-raising gluten-free flour, and it's just the generic brand that you get from your local supermarket. There's no special blends that I've put together. It's already done and in a box, but I did use the self-raising and not the all-purpose flour for the actual donut. But I use just plain gluten-free all-purpose flour to roll the dough out to stop it from sticking. You can see I'm just using a glass here to cut out the donuts and how thin I've rolled the donut dough. Don't worry, if you think it's too thin, it's not. The donuts rise again, and then when they get put into the hot oil, you'll see that they puff up again as well. So you don't want to make them too thick, because otherwise you'll end up with a really doughy donut. You'll be cooking them for ages, the outside will burn, and it won't taste nice. So I've covered it again with a towel, I've let them rise, and this is the finished product. They'll go into the hot oil and start to bubble away. You'll notice when the color starts to change on the sides of the donut, then they're ready to flip. And look, when I flip these donuts, you'll see that they're puffy on the underside. That's what you want. Cook them for about a minute on the first side and then finish them off for 2 minutes in the hot oil, not leaving them for too long. Then pop them into sugar and cinnamon till they're coated nicely. You can definitely fill these donuts with jam, Nutella, custard, whatever fillings you want. You could put a glaze on them if you want. These donuts were amazing the way they were. They were so light and fluffy on the inside. They were crispy on the outside, the right amount of sweetness and perfect texture that I didn't think anything else needed to be done to these donuts. Perhaps maybe a cup of coffee to enjoy this sweet treat. I've written out my recipe below for you to try and make these at home. Gluten-free fried donuts. Enjoy.